Alrighty, hello, hello. Hopefully we're live. Everybody can hear me. Let me just make sure. Alrighty, hello everyone. My name is Sheshire, the Devil's Not So Funny Jester, currently talking you through the body of my cat Grim. And today, we're back doing some more drawing. Now, last we left off, Monday we were doing some military art. Now, I did a little bit more off stream. I think we're going to continue it next week. We're going to do some of that, or we're going to continue it at my own time, just because I don't want to spend the entire week doing that today. I'm going to be working on some Valentine's Day art. I have this and another one that I'm working on, but I figured we're going to work on this one today. Alrighty. And yeah, sorry for not streaming yesterday, but I think today, tomorrow, the day after that will be every day. I'm going to try and put out some shorts and some clip channels I've been working on. And yeah, that's about it. Hello, hello. Hopefully you're all doing well. Okay. And everything is live. Good. Great. It's working. Let me make sure that the screen mirroring... Okay. For some reason it wasn't on. There we are. But hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully you're all doing well. I have probably like a good 2 hours here before I have to do some running around, and tomorrow I think it might be earlier in the day that we stream. May or may not. I'm experimenting with different time zones, so don't really know yet. It'll either be earlier on in the day, probably closer to like noon, 11, or it'll be in our usual time, between 4 to 6. Yeah, hopefully everybody can hear me alright, and the audio is balanced. I know last time the music was a little bit loud, so that should be fixed. Let me... back, there we go. Right, we have to figure out the posing on this. It's like I could... What I'm thinking is either A, we're going to have something like an open hand, right? Open hand, palm like that, you know, fingers outstretched, that sort of thing. Or, well, it was either that, and then we have like a hand here holding like a rose, and then Miss Amelie, or Monarch, is going to be smelling it like that. Alright, and then we'll hand will go down to here or whatever. That's fine. Or, the alternative is that we do the hand over here like this, holding her chest, and then another hand, which would be probably something like this, and then the rose in this hand like that. Or I don't know if we should maybe like pinch it more this way, and then have, you know, the rose sprawling out here. But I haven't decided yet. And we'll do both. And then kind of figure out where we want to go from there. And then what I plan to do up here is have her little scuffling mascots like that. They're going to be little, like cherubs though, with small wings holding up streamers, that sort of thing. Okay, but not on this layer. We'll get rid of those for now. Do I want to do a rose like that, or do I want to do a hand? Let me see. Now I can look at some references and pull them up just to see, but and stretched. Don't particularly see anything that I want as a reference, right? Let me just make sure there's nothing on here that I shouldn't be showing y'all, and then I can tab over. Okay, yeah, it's relatively fine. go under images and then see. See, I didn't see anything like what I'm looking for. No. No. So I don't really know yet. Thank you so much for the follow. Pleasure to meet you. Yeah, I haven't... I don't know, I'm still thinking that we were going to do like the smelling the rose instead. But I don't know. Hello, hello, how are you today? Let me just go back here then. We're just doing some drawing today, working on some VTuber Valentine's Day art. Hopefully you're doing well. Don't know if it would work like that, right? And like this. Because I'm still leaning towards like smelling a rose and then hand outstretched. But I don't know if that makes less sense than just to have like a hand outstretched with a rose. You know, we'll just work on this one and then we'll compare afterwards and see if we like the other idea better or not. Have like a hand like this. And we'll have, I guess her fingers would be curled around a rose like that. Index up. And then do we have it like here almost? Something like that? Oops. Erase, this is really just like a rough sketch. Right, so like that's what I'm thinking, but pink maybe? Let me hide the thumb. Or just pop it up like that. Little rose stem here. It's really one of those trust the process moments, right? You're just gonna have to wait and see if it works out or not, unfortunately. Like the stem there. Right. Those two, then we'll do the petals on the rose itself. Let me erase the rest of that, because I think the arm, the position itself is relatively fine. Well, the hand is not. And it should probably be more outstretched like that. Erase that. McMiller, I'm doing alright, and yourself? We're just doing some Valentine's Day art today. Hopefully you're doing well. Good, I'm glad. Was it you last time? Hopefully the snow's all gone and it's all, well, it isn't as bad as it used to be at least, hopefully. Trying to like look at myself while I'm holding this right now to get the reference. Would it be? No, it wouldn't. hand would be arced to the side. Okay. It would kind of be side facing then. That was way too big. Oh dear God, okay. And curve something like this. I think, yeah, the side profile makes more sense, just the way for it to be held. That's what I'm thinking. It's okay, it looks real rough right now, but... something like that. Bent elbow. I'm gonna like break my wrist trying to do these positions in real life. In the case, that's clearly not. So you have... give him turn facing like this way. I'm orienting myself right, so if you're looking straight, she's turned a little bit to the right. You have your wrist up like this, right? Like the long V, straight back up. And you're gonna have your hand bent. Okay, I'm gonna... there we go. I'm done breaking my hand. I've figured out how this is supposed to look. Yes, it was you with the snow, just finally gone, and they've gotten all the electricity for 99% of people. I'm glad. Okay. It's good to hear. I was worried for a minute there, at least where I was. There was infrastructure for it, but I heard power outages were like weeks on end, so glad to hear that everyone's alright at least. Probably one big stressor off your plate. Okay, so shoulders here. A V shape like that, right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, good, glad now you have some time to relax. Okay. Now, I have the hand. I'm like this. Fingers are like that, and you have like a little thumb poking up here. Do the stem going that way. And think about the flower like that. Yeah, so what I can see, we're going to warp this a little bit. I'm going to push the elbow further away, like that. And then that way this makes a little bit more sense. Also, do let me know if the music is alright. Hopefully it's not too quiet or too loud. The audio should be good. While you were away, OBS crashed, and I had to completely reset everything, all my settings and all that jazz, so... it should be good as of a day or two ago, but we never know, unfortunately. I'm spiritually 87 and technology is complicated. Okay. Right, like for the most part, elbow will be behind here. Erase that. I'll get rid of this. I know where the shoulder is. Pinch that. Just tidy this up a little bit. Would that be rounder? Yeah. So this bottom part would be rounder, this would be a little bit sharper here, and then that top half would be kind of a little flatter. There we go. So now, a little bit of shading, just rough idea, so I know that this part is going to be undercast. And then if that's the case, I do need to kind of redraw this here because I'm not going to have a hand covering it. Right, so something like that. At least I think that should make sense. There we go. And the way I'm doing it right now, we're not gonna, I guess, like continue to do different line art layers and that sort of thing. I'll just refine the sketch as I go. Like that's probably the easiest way to do it. Just from sketching recently, I feel that that works much better than what I was doing before. So we're just gonna kind of refine it, erase a little bit, and smooth it down as we go. Erase that part, and then that should be sort of where it ends, right? Something like right there. Maybe it'll be a little bit further up, yeah. It's kind of where the armpit will be. We'll start to refine the arm and the elbow. Should I pull up a reference? I'm gonna say, some of you may not know who Miss Amelie is, or Miss Monarch. Let me know. Oh, that actually, you know what, that's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. We're not gonna, okay. Now, let's import a different reference. Where is Amelie? There you go. We'll just zoom in. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Miss Monarch or Amelie, voice actress and singer, also a multiversal butterfly VTuber. That's what we're doing. So instead of the blue, the petals are actually going to be red. And then I was going to have some like white drapes over top or that sort of thing. You'll see. And then let me show you the Scufflings, her fan mascot. So those are going to be the like little cherubs flying in the top right corner. These little guys. Aren't they cute? Oh my god, they're so cute. So those will be like sitting up here and holding stuff. Holding a little streamer, that sort of thing, and then flying on like little wings. Okay, let's put it back to the original. There we go. Da, 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 da. And also, as always, if anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm open to answering pretty much anything during an art stream. And if you have any recommendations for future stuff as well, too, or, you know, stuff to draw, post, stream, anything like that. I know Fridays we do Fashion Fridays, so different outfits and that sort of thing. So if you have a VTuber or streamer you want to see drawn, do let me know. And other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy the dulcet sounds of my schizophrenic voice. Okay. Like, should that be shaded? Maybe a little bit. I think the elbow, yeah, the elbow's poking out. It should poke out this way. I'm stuck with your stories. No clue who you are. And again, I have Epic music stuck in my head, which is funny, because I haven't listened to Epic in God knows how many months now, but the earworms, that's how they get you. Then it's funny because there's music, I know BB No Money, his whole thing is like the beats are supposed to be catchy and like the whole, what is it, the bridge? Not the bridge, the chorus. Like that's the whole point of the song, but I find those are just irritating. And then there'll be songs where it's like all exposition and everything is different. There's basically no chorus, but those are the ones that are stuck in my ear playing 24/7. Just weird how that goes. And like a little line here. Bicep would be, and then just this bottom part has a little bit of shading. I'm gonna have to erase the arm underneath, you know, because I think I am liking this, but we'll decide afterwards anyway, so the L pick. We're stuck with the stories, with no clue who you are. Like this monster isn't you will find. You know, and this is nice today too. Let me know if you want to change the music at all. I think this one was the most relatively upbeat or jazzy one. The rest are all just kind of normal lo-fi, and I'm not necessarily a fan of the tracks or like this specific beat that just happened to start playing right now. But this is like the least normal one that they had. Elbow, come on, do your job. Right, okay. We'll thin this out where the wrist would be. And it would protrude like that, upwards, maybe. Something like that. You have your little wrist bone popping out there. I'm gonna snap my wrist trying to continually do this. I keep checking. Okay. So then that pops up, and that goes out like this, and then it kinda arcs out upwards on like a little diagonal. Right, something like that. We'll just have to redraw the rows afterwards. Once the hand posing makes sense, and the rest of it will too. And also another thing, let me know if there's any platforms you would like to see me on, because I'm going to be signing up to a couple different ones, and I was looking at streaming on TikTok, but the unfortunate thing is, you have to facecam stream before you can use a software, which means that's not happening. Because I am not showing my face, unless I can find a loop around on it, because there's that, and there's also Kick, which I haven't really dove into, and I've heard mixed things about, but yeah, let me know if there's any sort of platforms as well, because I think it's just YouTube and Twitch right now. I can see you both. Hello. I see all. But, you know, we may expand to TikTok and Kick, maybe. We'll see. Looking into it. Okay, we're just refining this a little bit. be what, like a little finger tucked. I keep looking at my wrist. I know you guys can't see this, but I'm currently like positioning my hand, looking at it the way she has hers bent. Because you are basically your own best reference. Okay, I see. So we'll have probably much closer to the end. We'll have like another line like this right here. And then that'll be kind of where the knuckles start to, where the finger joints, where the knuckles end, is going to be. Yes, we might have a little bit of the pinky kind of sticking out on the bottom for the most part, but then the rest of them should be relatively hidden. Let me make it smaller. Okay, there we go. I'll erase that. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Also, let me know if the anatomy looks like really off, because sometimes it's difficult when you're the person drawing and you're used to it, and then you kind of look back at it later and it's like really weird. So let me know if there's something that y'all see that I don't. That one finger, second one poking out. Okay. Second one here. You just do a little bit of an eraser maneuver. Like doing a barrel roll with your finger. And the second one, poked up a little bit. The index, I'm jumping the gun a little bit, I need to wait. Move like that. And then we have like a little bit sticking out like that. There we go. So we'll shade the most of it. And we'll have, is that the middle finger after that? Something, arcs relatively down like this. And yeah, the index would be kind of like further propped up. Oh, cool. Yeah. The middle finger is basically completely horizontal at that point. Erase it. We'll erase some of the bits sticking out there. There we go. I think it is. Yeah, it's turned like that. A little bit of an outcropping. It might, maybe I should push it a little bit further than the ring finger. Maybe that'll help. Okay. And then last but not least would be like the index knuckle, which is propping out a little bit. Let me see if this makes sense. I'll have a bit there. It's okay, I can just add a little bit here, shade that bit. And we'll erase the other end. that's just clutter we don't need. I can do that after. Does this make sense? I feel like this makes sense for the most part. And there is actually a line when you do that with your index finger. It isn't just a knuckle. A little line there. Erase that. Okay, and we'll just clean this up. Like a bump up and then it flattens out. Okay. Get rid of the rows. It's fine. We'll redraw the rows afterwards. Be gone, thought. I can kind of remove this for the most part. We'll keep the kind of wrist shading there. Okay, now then. You were smelling a rose. Now we gotta figure out where the hand would be placed. Okay, so I feel like that's the base. I am kind of liking the idea of like her smelling the rose. But maybe we'll actually just end up drawing both and then having the toggle. Okay, so I have something that's going out like this, maybe. It's going to end up with the stem maybe shooting out here. Right, like that's where that's going. And then how far would I want the stem? Let me erase that. I'd like it just a little bit at the end. You can shade it. Okay. And that's going to be more shaded, but just so I remember that there is that bit sticking out. Should I have like a little leaf or something? Or that distract from it? Yeah, that, you know, that would distract from the actual rose itself. Let's not do that. Yeah, maybe I have this lowered. Let's take that. Let's warp it. I can do that. You know what? I always forget I can do this. Let's grab that. And let's just warp it. We're going to stretch it further down. Like right here. That's coming straight out from the palm. I don't know why I spin that. Sorry to anybody I just made vomit. Okay. Now then. We'll have a second one, positioned like so. And then what am I doing? Erase this, right? Clear this up as much as possible. We don't want clutter. No, that doesn't look like a rose. Okay. Now, doing this little cup shape. We'll have stuff sticking out like that. I need to remember that, so I have like the lip of the rose coming out here. And then I would have some sort of lip on the petal there. Okay, come on. You know, I think I'm overthinking this. I just need to go quickly, swiftly, faster. Go like that. Just erase it. See where this happens. I can always, I'll shade it later. Something like that on the rose. Add a little bit of shading. And then shade the other end. That'd be some other lip on it. Erase that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Erase that like that. And there we are. And then let me erase the extra bits here. Erase this bit. And then I think, should that be closer to the nose? Or does that make sense? We'll arc it maybe a little bit like this here. And then we can get like the other bits going. So we'll have that little bud there. Erase this bit. Okay. Then I'm just gonna make all the rose petals like white, erase them completely, and I'll do the shading afterwards, just because right now it kind of looks like a bunch of messy mumbo jumbo scribbles. As opposed to not messy mumbo jumbo scribbles. Let me take the whole thing. I'm gonna warp it this way. Is that better? Does that cover too much of the mouth? Maybe it does. Maybe let's go back. Keep it something like this, where you can still see the mouth, and warp the rose. Or, do we have it at all like she's smelling the rose, or should she just be holding it, basically? I think I'm kind of thinking about the rose having to be smelled too much. Like, that's not important. Just having the rose being held is thematic enough. So we'll have it, we'll have it almost being like here, maybe. Something like this. I know I completely screwed up the shape, but that's okay. Maybe I'll have it like that, and I can just erase the overlap. Erase that. There we go. whatever overlap I can get rid of. Okay. Well, that's relatively done. Now then, maybe, maybe I should look up a reference of a rose. That might help, just a tad bit. Because I feel like what I'm doing right now is kind of just like a really rough pseudo-approximation of one, and I don't know if it's really going to get the job across. Smudge it, okay. There we go. Let's move on to the inner petals, lip-looking things. I have one that's kind of closed in like this, and we'll have like one sticking out, and I feel like that's basically just how roses work. You just wrap a bunch of stuff coiled around it like a little center bulb, and that should be close. Something like this? Maybe. Okay. I feel like I'm spending way too much time on this. Blur this part, yeah. Okay, even if it does fade away just from the angle, I just shade the parts that are moving further away, and I can leave the inner stuff unbulbed. That's something for me to look at later. But let's just kind of move on to the other part, the hand like this. The outstretched hand part. Right. So that was like width. Let me get rid of that. From here, if I have... Nope, that was way too small, and I'm making the eraser way too big. Sheshire, what the hell are you doing? Like this bit bigger, right? Maybe hand position like that. Or should I have the hand lower? Because I feel like that's more inviting. It's because I have her looking away, which doesn't really help. Maybe I should change where she's looking. Nope, that eraser is going to be way too big. Make it smaller. Do something like that. And then what if I have it... Maybe something like that instead. Would that work better? I think so. Erase that, and then we'll redraw the hand and see if it's gonna help us here. Okay. Now the elbow, maybe it should be a little bit bigger, standing like that, and then if I have the hand like this, it's going to be blocking most of the arm anyways. So, you know, what do? Do I have like the thumb up here, and like the rest of the hand curved, like it's a inviting sort of thing? I think that makes the most sense, is to do that. Okay, then I might look at some of my older drawings from like years ago, because I know I have one where the hand was relatively decently placed, just to look at that as a reference. So I don't know. This is gonna look a lot great right now. Let me erase that. You know what? No. That's not doing it. And then I have, it's supposed to be something like that. And you have your fingers like this, that reaching out. And then a hand somewhat like that, right? Let me take a look at one of my older ones just to see if I can get the hand reference, because, you know, that is not working. That is not necessarily a specific angle I was looking for, but that hand is kind of better. No. So let me go further back then, and we'll take a look at some other ones. Sorry, grab a bit of water. So any of these, it was... This is an oldie. Let me just... We're going to... No. Copy canvas. And I'm gonna go back and see. Just, you know, use that as a reference. Obviously it's a little outdated, but... just to sort of polish up on whatever the hell it is I'm doing with this hand. Okay, let me insert a photo. No, paste. What I meant to do is paste. I'm an idiot. Okay. And then let's flip horizontal. Right, exactly. Like that. You know what? Actually, the image still works relatively fine in horizontal. Okay. Gonna erase most of this. Sorry, Miss Kosaka. Okay, we're erasing that. And then I'm just gonna kind of trace it to see if I can get at least the top part, like the thumb and the hand proper. Maybe the fingers are a little rough. What else is there? What am I missing? Let me turn the background dark. Oh, I see. That little splotch of white there. I think I just had a stroke. Make that bigger. Pivot. What else is there? I assure you, there's nothing else to select. I don't know what else is trying to grab. I don't know why that... Okay, there we go. Something like that. this, just maybe for a little bit. And we'll stencil. Background back to white. What am I doing? No. Take this at least, this little hand, and pivot it. Pivot. Pivot. Only some of you are going to understand that. Pivot. There we go. Sheshire, do not sing the Amazon copyrighted music. That's how you get yourself sued. They can get you even here in hell. And we'll erase that. Yeah, we're just gonna erase some of this actually. Erase that, get this thumb bit here. End of the hand. Through, you know, these two or something like this. Like this, sorry. And that's that top one there. Let me turn the opacity down. Okay, we have like the palms of the hand here. Da, 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 da. We have a hand like that. Rotated palm. Another rotated palm. Erase this bit. Erase this bit. Da, da, da. Okay, I think, you know what, that's at least a base for me to work off of. I can get rid of the picture, I think, at least for now. Da, 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 da. To erase this bit here, I don't know why that is doing anything. It's really not. We can smooth out the palm. Erase that. Da, 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 da. Okay, let's continue with this bit then. Erase that part. Okay, there you go. Erase that, little pinky out, something like this. Maybe it would be less twisted actually, just from the perspective. It would probably look a little bit straighter. The digit would be something like this. Here I can add shading. Just like a little bit, so we understand. But this part is just a little bit closer. That's more straight on like this. I can erase the other end of the pinky. Okay, maybe something like that. Erase that bit. And we can add the elbow, like here. Stretch it a little bit down. How about that? Is that working? I don't know if the hand is working necessarily. Let me get rid of the scribbly bit, right? Because at least I have the rose part there, but this is not helping. We're going to remove the scribbly bit. We're going to polish this. Where do I want the rose arced? You know what? I'm going to focus on the rose later. Sheshire, stop it. Instead, what we're going to do is finish this. And then I'm actually going to work on some hair and maybe some other clothing details first. So I have that. Maybe I have, like this bit here should be arced. Yeah, something like that. Arch it straighter a little bit. And then I think, you know what, the hand, there's only so much you can focus on. You're just gonna have to move on eventually. Okay. Do that bit. Just add some shading, that's fine. Shade all this crap. Shade it here. Maybe that should be okay with the finger stretched like that, or no? Maybe we'll do it like this instead. I might have to just crop that. It's not. No. Something like this. Or do I just make it way bigger and have it arc like here? Let me erase that. See if that works better. You know what, that actually does kind of work better. Flatten out eventually. I might as well just do it here. Yeah, something like that. Does that mean maybe I should... What am I doing? I have the warp tool. What the hell am I doing? I could have just been doing this the whole time. Grab this. Warp it. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Make this bigger. You still must be small. Oh my god, I'm dumb. Forgive me. I am absolutely stupid. Why didn't I just do that this whole time? Oh my god. Then I can just grab that, and then I can just drag it where I need to grab. I am not frustrated. I am not frustrated. I am totally not frustrated that I could have just been doing this the whole time to warp the perspective. I'm gonna have a stroke. Okay, you know what? That's fine. No, that's fine. I grab this bit. There we go. And that's like the outstretched, outcropped hand. I think, yeah, it looks fine from this side too. Like, the anatomy of it makes sense. You know, if you're ever concerned about hands, literally just flip them upside down and see if, like, from a proper perspective, that would look okay. And I think, for the most part, like, this one does, actually. Oh, that goddamn warp tool. Oh, the goddamn warp tool. Okay. Okay, that's fine. You know what, that's fine. Like, I don't know if I just want to do the hand on chest thing still. And have the hand out and then just not worry about holding a rose. Maybe I'll end up combining the two. You know what, that's fine. Because I actually do really like... I really like that hand position. Okay, and then maybe I erase this bit. I take this bit. And I merge. Well, I go here first. I merge that down. Maybe I should go back first, okay. And then from here, with the animation assist off, I'm gonna erase the stuff that's underneath. No, wrong layer. Wrong layer. This one, there we go. Da, 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 da. Okay. First and foremost, let's just tour the hand itself. Okay. Like this again. Erase that. Erase this. Da, 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 da. No, we're still gonna go here. Just erase that tiny bit there. And then what I think I'm gonna do right after this is just do like a little base color so we can get an idea of what it's actually gonna look like. I mean, it's not necessarily finished yet, but still. We can always benefit from getting to see that. So, here, let me erase this bit. And we'll clean this up a little bit. Okay. And we can still clean up the rest of this, but I don't even know what I'm doing here. Does I have a petal coming off like that, really? I feel like what I need to do is accentuate like the flowingness on the hips, that sort of thing. So I'll have one, maybe like some petals falling this way, like a few floating like that, and then that way it'll arc out. Instead of just up where it is here, because this is confusing. Right. Okay, you know what, let's get make that some base color. I might change. Right. You know what, let's fill out the base color at least, and then I can see the full picture, sort of. I can fill out this here, because we at least know there's going to be some overlap. At least here there's going to be some. The rest of that. Probably doesn't help. Yeah, I'll fill out this portion too. That arm in there. Da, 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 da. Okay, and then I also want to see actually what the petals are going to look like, because I want there to be like a red gradient because it is Valentine's Day, not just the regular blue. And I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do for the shading, or at least the amount that it is going to change between the top and bottom half, so we're going to get to see that too. There's that. Erase that part, erase these parts. Just gonna get what's supposed to be petals cleared up. Probably that too. Or is it? Erase that. And then we'll fill it in some more. Okay, I think those spots are good. This spot here. Have some kind of here. I haven't decided how much is going to be covered with petals or not. Some in the eye, here, that sort of thing. Okay. So we'll get a fade kind of white towards the middle, and then they get blue towards the end, so we can keep that sort of white in the center. Near the belly button is kind of closer to that blue. Or I guess closer to that white. And then from there they'll fade into the color, which will be red for us. Okay. Okay, and then as they start to get further away, the color was fading. Okay, a little bit lighter, like that one there, but that's about it. So then, what if I do, like this purple instead, and then that fades to red, because maybe that'll help with the blue theming. Just so it isn't so abrupt. Also, let me know if the stream is still going okay. I'm just going to double check that nothing has exploded horribly. Yes, it is. Okay, purple sight's still live. Red's a go. Everything else is fine. Okay, good. Glad nothing has exploded. God, the new system does actually work so much better. Let me flip back to this. Okay, good. Just add some purples. And then we'll go in with some red after. That one does kind of look like a butterfly, huh? Guess it was meant to be. purple. These bits at the end here too. Da, da, da. Now then, is that supposed to be covered? Maybe. Cover the rest of this. Okay, and let's see how some red will look. I want to get something maybe more on the pink side. Mark it like this. Okay. That for the most part, the pink is done. Let's do the reds. Okay, it's more of a peach color anyways, but... Let's get some of that, we'll blur it. Blend these. Okay. Red's there. Here, we'll add red to the rest of this. Okay. How is that? A little bit more purple to the inside ones and then blend those. Just because I think it is maybe a little contrasty right now. Then we'll add some red instead. I'll actually commit to the red. And there we go, that's the kind of blood red we're looking for. Is Is that a little intense? Maybe that's a little intense. Lighten it a little bit and put it higher. Let's try that. This would be closer to what she had going on with the blue. It wasn't super, super vibrant. Okay, but there was just enough that you knew it was there. There we go. Yeah, this might be a little bit tan. We're gonna make it paler anyways. But just for now, so I have an idea, this is a relatively good idea of what we're working with. If I was highlighting this whole part here, coming from there, yeah, I think that's brightness on it basically. Make the fingers lighter too, there we go. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Never mind. I mean, that's really just kind of like a rough idea. That's it for now. Just a really rough idea. Let's keep going with the red. I think these ones actually might need a bit of pink too. Like that is not nearly, well, like way too much white over there. Now we'll add this. Let me go back to the actual sketch itself. Are there petals supposed to be flying? Like that there? Like behind them are the petals? No, I don't think so. I think we're erasing those two lines. They're not helping us. At least the first one, like that one doesn't do anything. think I can merge this down. Okay, we'll get rid of that and we can continue to sketch now. Let me continue with the hair. Wrong brush. Okay. Maybe it'll be like a kind of messy updo sort of thing. We'll have something like that. Erase that bit. You know what, let's add another hair like this, another strand like that, flicking out. Or not. Maybe let's not. Instead, we'll just keep it like this. Continue like that. It's going upwards. There we go, erase that. Erase this. That's for the bang portion. Come on. There we go. Erase that bit. Put it more into the ponytail. I need to erase this. Sheshire, what are you doing? Just use a small eraser here. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep that updo or not, but for now that's where it's staying. how is this updo thing looking? Is it working out? I can't tell. No, that's too much. We're just gonna keep it kind of loosely tied up the way it was before, like that. Now, do I keep the hair messy like that? That's what I'm thinking for now, but... Na-na-na-na-na. Let's get rid of that. That's kind of it'll be in the background later, but I think it's cluttering, which doesn't help me figure out what the foreground is looking like. Make that tighter like this instead. Okay. And then we're erasing this bit. You know, I'm gonna have to work on this a little bit on my own time, but we'll be back tomorrow for some more of this. Thank you everybody for coming by, and I'll see you later. Bye.